All right. Hello everybody. Welcome back to season 2 of the Podcrastinators.
Yep.
We're finally past that first milestone. We're done with the horror season. Now we're starting our Nicolas Cage season. I'm your host Cam, along with my co-host Connor.
How's it going, everybody? For our first movie that we watched for the Nicolas Cage season, we went with Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
one of the early 2000s Marvel movies that, like the majority of them, or all of them really, is not very good.
Well, Spider-Man's good. The Sam Raimi Spider-Mans are good. And
That's fair. But that was Sony, not Marvel.
This was Sony.
This was Sony?
Yeah, this was part of that Sony.
Really?
Ghost Rider was one of the characters that Sony acquired. So
I did
Yep.
not know that.
this was a Sony production.
Wow. Yeah, okay, interesting.
So released in 2007, directed by Mark Steven Johnson, I believe, the same director as the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. The exact same
That
director.
Makes a lot of sense.
And
It's amazing to me. I was thinking during it. It's crazy that there was a sequel made to this movie and Ben Affleck's Daredevil.
Yep.
Well, kind of sequel with Elektra.
Yeah,
But
spin-off.
like it's crazy to me that both movies were able to have a sequel.
This movie just about broke even when I was looking at the box office numbers. Like, didn't do like super well, but they didn't really lose any money on this. So it wasn't a complete failure.
So as someone who reads a lot of comics, I was curious, have you read any Ghost Rider stuff?
I have not read a ton of Ghost Rider stuff. The only Ghost Rider comic I've read is called I think it's called so there's a Midnight Suns arc, and then there's a story called in the 90s that I've read called Spirits of Venom, and it's like a Venom Ghost Rider team up book. That's pretty interesting.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah,
Does Ghost Rider is this power only come out at night? Is that like
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like I said, I haven't read a ton of Ghost Rider comics, but in the comics, Eva Mendes's character becomes like a soldier for Blackheart, who is the main villain from this movie. Her character becomes Black Rose.
Speaking of which, Blackheart they all looked like super awful, pale, like teenage vampire type deals,
Yeah,
like
yeah, they
something
did.
out of Twilight.
Yeah, they did. I didn't even think of that. I wanted to ask you, do you think you could name all the villains for me? Like, do you know what their names are?
As well, Blackheart and then the Devil,
Mm-hmm.
but none of the other ones.
So there was, I think, Gressel was the ground guy, and Wallow was the water guy, and Abenor was the air guy.
They were
And
all such pushovers, dude. Like they just die, and it's not even cool how he kills them. He just kind of like he like does like a fan for the air guy. He just kind of like puts fire on the water guy. I don't even remember how the other guy dies.
he like wraps him with the chain, and then he like turns him to stone, and then just like breaks him. They all died in really lame ways.
Mhm.
They clearly couldn't come up with any good ideas on how to kill them.
And every time they did fight them, it was like not even a 30-second fight. It was like a 10-second thing, and then they were just gone. And you're like, oh, okay.
The action was very lackluster.
Nicolas Cage is such an interesting choice.
Well, he was the one that lobbied for this. Like, he wanted to play Ghost Rider. He did good for what he was given, I thought. Like, he definitely was giving it his all.
Yeah.
The southern accent at times
It's
was a
funny.
little flimsy, but
Yeah.
I felt like Nicolas Cage is easily the best part of this movie.
Yeah, I'd agree. The fact that you mentioned the southern accent, I think it's funny that in the beginning of the movie, like him as a kid does not have that accent like at all.
I think he does a little bit.
I don't know. I feel like when the movie started when Nicolas Cage first came in, I was like, wow, his voice, like, it's totally different.
Maybe. Well, so yeah, Nicolas Cage really lobbied for this to like play the character because this apparently he's a big comic book fan. This was his first comic book role. He later got to be in Kick-Ass and most recently into the Spider-Verse.
Dude, we need to add Kick-Ass to one of our
I already added it. I added it already.
Nice, let's go.
So yeah.
He's great in Kick-Ass.
He is great in Kick-Ass, but he was supposed to be Superman in that Death of Superman movie.
I remember the photos of it.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen those photos, look them up. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
But so...
What? That's so weird. He's been casted for 3 things, or like thought about for 3 things.
Yeah.
All of them just like don't fit in the slightest.
Well, so apparently Nicolas Cage had a copy of Action Comics #1 that like people broke into his house and stole it. Like and in 20 I was looking this up while we were watching the movie because I was bored.
Yeah. It's a 2-hour-long movie.
It was so long.
And the pacing, it's 2 hours long. It feels way longer. And it feels like everything's happening like really fast, but it still doesn't make it feel fast.
Yeah.
Pacing's very, very bad.
So...
Yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
Nicolas Cage has been lobbying recently also for whoever stole his Action Comics #1 to return it. Because in 2014... a graded 9 of Action Comics #1 went for like $3 million.
Wow.
So, and apparently Lionsgate is making that into a movie that just recently got announced. Like, it's like a heist movie about some nerds trying to steal Nicolas Cage's Action Comics #1.
Really?
Yeah, they're making that into a movie.
Is he going to be in the movie?
I don't know. I don't know. I just saw the headline while we were watching this movie.
I'd watch that. That sounds awesome.
Sounds funny. But yeah, back to the movie, I guess.
Nicolas Cage did a thing with Ghost Rider where he would always point at the camera, like it'd zoom in and he'd like lift his hand and he'd be like pointing at the camera. He did it like a bunch of times.
A bunch of times.
And it was just very cheesy and lame every single time.
I thought this movie has bad direction, bad action, bad script. Okay, so I watched this movie earlier in the year and with my roommates, and we had a couple drinks before, and I had a good time watching it. So when we added this to the list, I was like, oh, like, this is going to be stupid fun. This is going to be like Batman and Robin. Like, even like when we watched Daredevil for our Lost season, that only our true fans will understand.
Yeah, the season that happened before, like years ago. But yeah, anyways.
At least that, like, Daredevil has some good action and some good music.
And some good set, like, and some good music. Those, like, early 2000s grunge.
Yes, sir.
The most notable thing they had for Ghost Rider was the Western song, that
the Johnny Cage cover. That's my favorite part of this movie is when him and Carter Slade are like riding together. That's easily the most hype part of this movie. It's easily
the most hype part, and then he's just gone like that.
Yeah, it was like, I could only change for one last time, and I was saving it for this. And it was like, why didn't you help him fight Blackheart? You just rode here with him? Yeah. Why?
What was the point of that? I think my favorite part of the movie was at the beginning when Nicolas Cage turns on the TV and it's the monkey. And he's like, ah, ha, ha, ha.
Just the fakest laugh ever.
And he's like dying, and he's like, hey, man, stop watching that monkey video.
Yes. So at the beginning of the movie, you know how he does the football field jump across the helicopters? Mm-hmm. I was curious. I was like, what is the longest motorcycle jump? Mm-hmm. Like, I wanted to know if that was possible. And so before this movie came out, the world record was like 220 feet or something. And then I didn't see when it was broken, but the current world record for the longest motorcycle jump is like 330 feet. So it is that jump is possible. It has been done.
Interesting.
So
very interesting. I'm guessing that's the true comic origins, that he was a stunt rider.
I think so.
I kind of don't like that. Because it's like cheesy bikes and stuff. Like I feel like the coolest part of Ghost Rider is his bike, and then he has like this super lame like Harley Davidson chopper looking thing. Which I mean, it's fine if you like that type of bike, but for me, it's just not it. I think, and like it's on a bike. Like there was nothing. If they made a Ghost Rider today, they'd have to be like very attuned with bike culture. I feel like.
I think the current Ghost Rider in the comics drives like a muscle car anyway. Like he doesn't even
Really?
drive a bike anymore. It's like
It's kind of cheesy now.
it's like a supernatural car if you've seen
That's
that
cooler.
show. Yeah.
I like that a bit more than the bike. I mean, unless they had like, I don't know, some sports bike or like some crazy like KTM or something like that.
You think the Harley's kind of lame?
I hate Harleys. I mean, they're just heavy, and
I don't know that
Lame
much
and
about
loud.
motorcycles.
the only reason I know is because my dad's obsessed with motorcycles. He has a bunch of KTMs and BMW GSs and has done like cross country like trips. And that's why it's just kind of like seeing that bike. It's like, just it looks like a Harley Davidson thing, and it's not like.
I think that's from the most recent Ghost Rider comic. So he does actually still have the bike,
Yeah.
but
I think they could have used a cooler bike because the bikes that we're looking at in these pictures look a lot cooler. Oh, there's the car.
Yeah, there's the car.
Yeah, the car would be sick.
I think it's the shoot. It's this isn't the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider either.
Oh, okay.
His name is Robbie Reyes is the Ghost Rider that drives the car.
Is there any like big Ghost Rider comics that you know of?
Not off the top of my head. I was trying to think, but there's a I also haven't read this, but there's I do really want to read it. It's called Cosmic Ghost Rider. So it's like if Punisher got the powers of the Ghost Rider and becomes the Herald of Galactus.
Yeah.
And then he like goes to kill baby Thanos or something like that.
Huh.
It's like a crazy arc. Apparently it's really good.
Interesting.
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Um,
Apparently it's worth reading.
I think is it like the Blue Flames one? I feel like I've seen a photo of it.
I'm not sure.
Well,
Maybe,
regardless,
yeah.
I feel like I have seen pictures of that. That's neat. Nothing neat that you'll find in the movie. I was gonna say too, they did the like that like effect on the voice so much, like that evil like. It's early 2000s, like evil voice, like evil devil voice. So it's just like something layered on top of their voice or something like that. And it sounds so bad. And then
stare into my eyes.
And then sometimes they just like don't do it, and you're like, well, that kind of ruins the consistency.
Yeah, it isn't very consistent.
No. And they all had the same one too, like the exact same voice, which is kind of
the exact same filter on all the voices. I always try and think of like the pluses, I don't want to rag on these movies the whole time. Like we always say, no one's trying to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
But my two pluses are Nicolas Cage and the CGI. Apparently, like the fire CGI, apparently that was like super hard for the time, and I feel like it still holds up.
Yeah.
And the
the CGI is not awful.
I feel like it holds up. But so this came out in 2007, 1 year before Iron Man, 1 year before the MCU started, and 1 year before The Dark Knight too.
Oh yeah.
Like, think about that.
Yeah, this movie was forgotten at the time. I remember I used to watch this. Do you remember those like little DVD players that you would like take on like car trips? Or something?
Yeah.
Like you could put on like the back of the seat, or it's like a little laptop thing that you could put in your lap. I would watch Ghost Rider, and that was like I watched it a couple of times when I was little, and I remember liking it.
Yeah, that's also why I thought this would be a fun watch, because like I have that childhood nostalgia associated with this movie, but like holy shit, none of it held up.
Dude,
like
kids that are like at the age to remember movies and appreciate movies growing up in the time of the MCU are so spoiled.
I know.
We literally had garbage until we were like 9.
Oh,
when the first good we were 9 when the first good Marvel stuff came out, and like I guess that's still pretty young. We got a good, but well, phase 1. I feel like I'm getting lost, but sorry.
Here's a good pre MCU Marvel movie, X-Men.
You know what? You're not wrong.
But not Sony, Fox.
Yeah. You know, I take that back. It was X2. X2 is so good.
X2 is so good. And the first one, honestly.
And
the first one is good.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit vanilla. Like
yeah.
But
it's just
really
setting
good.
it all up. But X2 is definitely where it's at.
Yeah.
Just like Spider-Man 2.
Yo, dude, Spider-Man 2 is so good.
Okay, so there's a big movie legend associated with this. You know that scene when Nick Cage gets out of the shower and he's jacked?
Yeah.
People thought that his abs are CGI. Like,
Really?
that's a big urban legend. But on the
It's
audio,
not, though, is it?
no, it's actually his abs. On the commentary, the director did confirm it's all Nicolas Cage. But for a long time, people
thought it was
speculated that his
CGI.
abs were just CGI.
That's so weird that's what people. I feel that's funny that's what people are like. That doesn't look real.
Yeah, like, I'm a little skeptical on those abs, Nick Cage.
He was pretty ripped.
He was ripped for just the one shirtless scene.
Yeah, for the one shirtless scene.
What did you think about the reveal that the caretaker was actually Carter Slade? Did you see that coming? Did it get you? Were you surprised?
No, I remember.
Oh yeah, you
I
remembered it.
remembered.
Okay.
Let
us
so
know.
Lazy though.
Let us know in the comments if you were surprised by that.
Yeah. I agree. Like the flame horse that he was on was really cool.
Yeah, that's way better, way cooler than the
Than the
cheesy
bike.
motorcycle.
Yeah, than the cheesy Harley. There's just like so many cool bikes out there that they could do. Like, and there was no cool bike work, you know, like there had to have been cool stunts with the bike, but there was nothing cool that wasn't CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do cool stunts on those types of bikes. Like you don't do cool stuff on those
Yeah.
bikes.
I'm wondering if, like I said, I don't know that much about motorcycle culture, but like, do you think that they picked that type of bike because of the time? Like, was that popular at the time in like the mid 2000s?
Harleys have been falling off for a while now, at least from what I've heard. I'm not gonna say that I have extreme knowledge
Yeah.
of motorcycle culture, but I have a bit. But I know that like Harley has been like going into like electric motorcycles now and stuff. Just
Interesting.
because they're like trying to like rebrand themselves.
Right.
So yes, that was more popular in the time, but also there was still super, super cool bikes that weren't that stuff, you know?
Interesting. Maybe like Harley Davidson is the most like mainstream
Yeah.
like example of bike, so that's just what they went for the widest appeal.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's not, yeah, I don't know.
And then so I will say at the end, I did like the effect on Blackheart after he like absorbed all the souls, like the red eyes. I feel like
Yeah.
look sweet, and like you have all the like subtle horns around his face. Like
Mhm.
I felt like that was a cool design.
I thought the like the little souls of like all the lost souls like flying around looked pretty good too. Like
Mhm.
that didn't look too bad.
That reminded me of like Pirates of the Caribbean.
I had
kinda.
the exact same thought. I know Joke had I was thinking about the scene where she's like, the thing about a nightmare is you're on one. You know that
Yeah,
scene?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know that's
When
the
the-
exact quote.
Yeah, when she like first opens up the Black Pearl and sees that they're all skeletons. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Mhm. I had the exact same thought. That's funny.
Yes.
And I was like, well, that movie probably came out before Ghost Rider, right?
I think so.
Dude, those first two movies were really good. I haven't watched those in a while.
We just do Pirates of the Caribbean.
season.
Oh, well, speaking of Pirates of the Caribbean, apparently Johnny Depp was also in the running to play Ghost Rider in this movie.
Who do you think would be a good Ghost Rider? I don't even know what Ghost Rider looks like outside of the skeleton thing.
Just a white guy. Well,
Yeah,
something and
just a white guy.
sometimes he's Robbie Reyes.
Yeah.
Who's
I don't know who I would.
Latino.
I don't know who I
Hispanic.
would cast. Like
yeah.
that was one thing though. Like it's easy to get stuck in the mindset that Marvel has used up all its good characters. But then you're like, oh, but they could make a Ghost Rider
Yeah.
movie, and it could be good, not like this one.
Exactly.
Like is the devil Mephisto?
They call him Mephistopheles in this movie, but like, yeah, it's Mephisto.
Yeah,
But-
he's not good, and he's such a lenient devil too. Like he gives him like, he's like, yeah, well, once you do it, you don't have to work for me anymore.
Yeah, it's like, I'll take the power away. You can have a normal life now.
Yeah,
Like-
and you're like, I don't know if the devil would do that.
and then also I almost said Johnny Cage. Johnny.
I was in my notes and I was writing out Johnny Cage and I had to delete it a couple times.
Well, and then does Johnny Blaze have the ability to be like, no, like, you can't take your powers back. I'm gonna still be Ghost Rider. Like, I feel like the
Yeah.
devil could just be like,
No.
no, I'm taking the power back.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that was weird.
And then even though he defeats Blackheart in the end, he still can't go back to his normal life because the police know that he's Ghost Rider. And they went up to Roxanne and they were like, you have 6 hours to find him or we release what we have to the public. Like,
Yeah, that just kind of dropped off the face of the movie.
yeah,
didn't
well,
it?
what happened there?
Also, can we talk about when Roxanne was at dinner when she was supposed to wait for Johnny
Yes.
Cage at the Johnny Blaze / Nicolas Cage / Ghost
Oh, that's
Rider.
why Johnny Cage. Because
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
that's why we
right.
keep getting it confused.
But when he asks her out to dinner and then doesn't come, she just has an 8-ball in like her purse. And,
Yeah,
like,
she just
shakes it.
brings a magic 8-ball everywhere,
Yeah.
wherever she goes.
And it was so weird. You're like, all right, like, cool.
Well, I do want to mention that we did watch the extended cut. We didn't watch the theatrical cut.
Really?
So there were a bunch of like extra scenes, like
Oh, there's an extended what?
there were some the extra scenes were like from when he was a kid with his dad, and there were some extra scenes with like some dialogue between them, and then there was like a couple extra scenes between Carter Slade and Johnny Blaze, and I don't. It was just a bunch of extra dialogue that was so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was the scene with the cops coming up to her and being like, "You have 6 hours to find her." Like, that's not to find him. That's not in the theatrical cut.
Huh. I had no
Um,
idea we were even watching that.
The
I don't think it adds anything to the movie.
No, I don't think so at all.
Have you ever watched the extended cuts for Lord of the Rings?
I have not watched the extent. I've only seen the theatrical cuts.
I've watched all of them through a marathon, you know, as one nerd does.
I need to do that
Not in
eventually.
like a day. We did it like me and my friend did 3 days, and each day we
Mm.
watched an order, a different one.
I need to do that eventually.
But I feel like that's kind of like the trend, because even in those ones, I feel like the only scenes where I was like, oh, that's not in the original movie was just like kind of like cut dialogue scenes that were like, you know, it could have stayed or could have went. It didn't really add or
Mhm.
take away anything from the movie. It just added more runtime.
One of the main examples that I think it improves actually is the Ben Affleck Daredevil. Like, you get a lot more context in the in the director's cut of like a lot of the like legal stuff that's going on, and like the
The courtroom scenes.
the
and
courtroom
stuff.
stuff, and like how Wilson Fisk is like manipulating things behind the scenes, I guess.
Mhm.
But that's a previous episode that only our true fans will know about.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that again in the future.
I think we should in the future because I love that movie.
Do you love this movie?
I thought I did until we just watched it.
And you're like, oh damn, this movie sucks.
Well,
Did you watch the second one?
yes, I did watch the second one.
I think I've watched the second one. I genuinely don't know though.
I want to watch the second one for this show, just to follow up on this episode. But in the second one, Nicolas Cage does the motion capture for Ghost Rider, so like it's a lot more like actually like Ghost Rider is actually more of like a character. In this, Nicolas Cage didn't do the motion capture for
Yeah.
the actual like when he's Ghost Rider, and you can tell it's like very stiff and.
Yeah.
Like, you get more of, like, the Nicolas Cage personality kind of comes out more in the second one when he's Ghost Rider.
I think I have the same. I mean, I don't know anything about Ghost Rider and like the comics and stuff, but I have the same complaint with this that I do with like when Spawn, when we watched that a while ago, where it's like the coolest part of it is the fact that he's a soldier for the devil. and like like in this one, yeah, he fought some demons, but like they weren't really demons.
They still just looked like people, and they had
Yeah.
elemental powers,
Like,
but like,
they could have made it so much cooler with like making it a lot more satanic, I think.
oh, I did like the part at the beginning though when when he doesn't even really sign the deal with the devil. He kind of like gets tricked into it.
Yeah.
Like cuts his thumb. But I did like when the devil was like walking around him and the lightning flashes and
Oh, and
like
it
see the
shows-
silhouette of the
yeah.
like hunched over devil. That's a really good part, I thought too.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I also noticed though that when he walks past, you can also see his actual shadow following.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
didn't notice that. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's like you see his like fake devil shadow, like you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of like I don't know, like the vampire in the mirror or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, once that thing walks away, if you keep watching, you can see his actual shadow. Like
That's awesome. That's incredible. I think that's all I wanted to talk about. I think I want to buy a leather jacket. I think I could pull it off.
I think you could pull it off too.
I think I might get a leather jacket.
That's the hard thing with Ghost Rider, though, right? Is because like he looks cool in art and stuff like that, but like making a flamed skeleton and a leather jacket on a Harley Davidson type bike is just like it's not very cool. Like I get the appeal, kind of, but like I don't know.
My one we mentioned the Johnny Cash, a lot of Johnnies.
Yeah.
we mentioned the Johnny Cash song cover that they played, and I'm very disappointed that you can't find that song like anywhere.
Really?
Legitimately, like
Huh.
not on Spotify, not on Apple Music. Like I don't even know if it's in like the CD release. I've looked everywhere for this. Like
Interesting.
I cannot find like a legit copy of this song.
Huh.
Like it's on SoundCloud and stuff, but like I want to actually own it, you know?
Yeah. No, I understand.
And if you're listening to this, Kevin Feige, because I know you're a giant fan of us, please put Nicolas Cage in Secret Wars as Ghost Rider.
That would actually be pretty cool.
and Ben Affleck as Daredevil. Please
Yeah.
make it happen. It's the multiverse. Anything could happen. Please have them show up.
Is there any other shitty characters in those movies? I feel like those are the only two big ones. There's like the bad DC ones, like the Superman.
Yeah, Steel
Steel.
with Shaq.
Oh yeah.
That's still DC though. They could have. Well, you're gonna have all the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
Like Hugh Jackman is 100% gonna show up, and it would be pretty cool if we got all the original X-Men back.
yeah.
Like, I mean,
They
Disney
gotta
will
be
give them.
old at this point. I feel
Maybe
like.
they're in the future.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong.
You could have. We should watch the 2003 Hulk.
Oh yeah, with Edward Norton.
No, it's Eric Bana.
Oh, the first Hulk after the show.
Because the
Isn't that
no. It's 2003,
And
Wait.
then there was the one with
The
Edward,
Edward
Norton,
Norton.
later.
and that's in the MCU.
Yeah.
The one with Edward Norton.
And wasn't it like based off of the show, the movie?
I'm not sure. The 2003 Hulk with Eric Bana and directed by Ang Lee.
Sam
and
Elliott's
this guy.
in it too.
Oh, he's General Ross.
Sam Elliott was all right. So if you've seen The Big Lebowski, the guy who's like, "Let me tell you about a story about the dude."
Oh yeah, he is the narrator in Big
mhm.
Lebowski.
He's the guy with the huge mustache in Big Lebowski, and he's the Western Ghost Rider.
He's
on the
Carter
force.
Slade.
Yeah.
And now he's General Ross in the old Hulk movie.
When you found out his name was Slade or Carter Slade, in my mind I was like, oh, Deathstroke, and I was like, oh wait, this
Yeah.
is Marvel.
Deadpool will probably be in Secret Wars. That's a no-brainer.
No.
But please, I want Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider and Ben Affleck Daredevil and Secret Wars,
Mhm.
please. Please.
I'd be about it. I'd be very about it.
That would be so awesome.
Yeah, so this was definitely a movie.
I
Might
thought
be the last time I ever watched this movie in my life.
I agree. I thought I was a fan of this movie, but not anymore.
No. Nostalgia is a crazy thing, huh?
Yeah. Nicholas, he had zero character arc, like
No,
zero
not at
character
all.
development. Like they were kind of setting it up at the beginning where he was like trying to run away from his problems, and then they just like never address it again until the very end when he's like, I am the spirit of vengeance, the one who can walk in between worlds. I am the Ghost Rider. Like, oh, was that the moment that he was accepting it? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, cool. I suppose that works.
Yeah. No, it didn't work.
Nope, not at all. So, what is next? What's the next movie?
Oh, I think the next movie is Wicker Man.
Okay. That's the bees one, right?
Yeah, that's the bees.
Is that all right? Well, I won't talk about anything.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, me neither.
Cool.
Cool. Well, yeah. Please watch The Wicker Man. We want to get the audience in the Nick Cage mood, you know.
Yep.
We're gonna be watching a lot of Nick Cage.
I know, it's about to be a month and a half of Nick Cage. Here we go.
Here we go. Well, we appreciate you all listening as always. Please put down any feedback you can, whatever platform you're listening to this on. And if you have anything that you want to hear us talk about in regards to The Wicker Man, definitely comment on this video or on whatever platform, and we will look at that because we do want to be more interactive, build up a more interactive listener base.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, please.
Please.
But yeah, as always, thank you for listening. And
Thank you very much.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.